Welcome to episode 35 of the Other Star franchise, the anti-fascist Star Wars podcast where a couple of Trekkies from the Star Trek fandom discuss Star Wars. We are currently watching a lot of the Star Wars shows, movies, and animation in chronological order for the last 5 months, leading up to the release of The Mandalorian and Grogu movie later this week. Today, we are discussing AHSOKA, the TV show on Disney+, all 8 episodes of Season 1, which streamed in 2023, and take place in universe in the year 9 ABY. Like, damn near every Disney live-action Star Wars show.
Yeah, they really honed in on 1 year.
This is a busy fucking year. They're like, we're not going to do, like, the sequel trilogy and just, like, fast forward to 30 years later. We're going to get there as slow as We're going to stay 5 years away from Return of the Jedi and milk that for as long as we fucking can.
Marinating.
I'm just looking at our spreadsheet now. This is kind of funny. I hadn't thought to look at it this way previously. But if you're watching a video format of our show, you should be able to see the spreadsheet that I talk about all the time. There's a link in the description wherever you are watching or listening to us. Like Joel in the live audience. He says, hello there. Hello there, Joel. But we document all of the Star Wars episodes and movies we've watched in the chronological order. I basically just copied what was on Wikipedia and might have tweaked a few things here or there, but basically we started a long time ago. We started this back in January, right?
I think so.
So we started off with The Acolyte. We watched that show for the very first time. Neither one of us had seen it. Throughout this project, we've been throwing in a lot of the Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire, wherever they fit. But we did the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars TV show, which took up a long time. There's a lot of episodes of Clone Wars. But then we finally got through that and got into the Bad Batch. And then we got into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and Andor and Rebels at the same time, which was a blast. Those are both of our 2 favorite Star Wars TV shows ever, right?
Yeah.
And then the original trilogy, that was a lot of fun. On May the 4th, we did an individual stream for each movie. But that brings us to the year 9 BBY, which began with The Mandalorian Season 1. So let me think. That was an 8-episode series. So let's not even count the Tales of the Empire that we squeezed in. That gave some backstory on Morgan Elsbeth. And what was that guy's name? Chin, who lived on her planet? But, okay, not even counting that. We had 8 episodes of Mando Season 1, then 8 episodes of Mando Season 2, and then 7 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. And then 8 more Mandos for Season 3, and now 8 episodes of AHSOKA. So that brings us to 39 total 1-hour-ish episodes.
Yeah.
So this is like, if one of these episodes is like each week of the year, that's 39 weeks of the year, and then I guess we get 8 more with Skeleton Crew. So I guess there's room for this to all fit in 1 year, but...
Yeah, it is a lot happening at once. I feel like especially the Mandalorian timeline, that should probably be like over the course of 2 or 3 years. Because like Grogu and the Mandalorian, I guess Din Djarin, like their relationship blossoms, and like you would think that would be more of like a longer term.
Yeah, like at least like in Season 1 when they're traveling around together. You think that's like at least 6 months.
Right? Like minimum.
But no, I guess it was like 1 month. Or maybe
1
2,
week.
maybe 2.
But yeah, I mean, I get, of course, like, their connection makes sense still. But I definitely had canon that it was over the course of a couple years and not 1.
Well, I should say that this timeline might get corrected by some canonical source in the future. As far as I know, the reason why they classify all this stuff as 9 ABY is it all goes to, like, an interview with Jon Favreau, where he's like, oh yeah, like, our show picks up, like, 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And so, like, ever since then, people just assumed 9 ABY for all this stuff. But we're at like the end of all the stuff that we've already watched. The main things, the big things that we had not seen when we started this were the Acolyte, and then now Skeleton Crew. So we're ready for Skeleton Crew next, but Ahsoka was an exciting thing to revisit. This was one of the first things Taylor and I ever watched together when we started dating 2.5 years ago. The first thing we ever watched, our second date was we hung out and watched Mandalorian season 3. I had not seen the third season yet, way back in 2023. Shortly after it came out, and then Ahsoka came out, and Miss Taylor showed me all of Mando season 3, and then we went straight into Ahsoka. And then now we just watched those again.
Yeah.
Like the same week we got engaged to get married. So very circular. I did not plan.
Yeah, it did line up pretty well, huh?
I did not plan that, but yeah, it came into alignment. But I gotta say, one of the recurring things I've brought up countless times on the other Star franchise, watching and discussing Star Wars with you, Taylor, is that, like, when we watched the Clone Wars, that was the most I've ever liked the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I had watched all the way through the show by myself in chronological order twice before, and once in just, like, the order that it's on Disney Plus in. But it was absolutely the most I'd ever enjoyed the show. I feel like I got, like, the most out of it. Some of the things I don't like, I still don't really like them. But I guess I just accepted them going in, so that helped. And, yeah, like, I feel like I watch it now, and it's like, oh, I know, like, so many clone names. So, yeah. I was looking at something the other day, and I was like, oh, that's the clone Kix, because he had the red medical symbol on his shoulder. I was like, oh, I know exactly who that is. But anyways, this is the most I've ever enjoyed the show Star Wars Ahsoka. In fact, I super enjoyed it.
Hey.
I like this more than The Mandalorian now. It's
Ooh, I like that.
This has become my second favorite Disney Plus production of Star Wars. I guess Andor is still number 1, and then this. But I have really bought into Dave Filoni's vision now. Like, I watched the show the first time, and I was already a big Rebels fan when I watched this the first time in 2023. But I guess I hadn't really seen Rebels recently, so, like, there's so much, like, I didn't pick up on, like, with the Ezra and Sabine stuff, or with some of the Hera stuff. And then, especially after just rewatching everything, I was like, man, this show pulls from every era. Like,
it
we
really
have, like,
does.
These Clone Wars era ships hanging out with Akbar's ship from Return of the Jedi, and we even have like a character from Resistance, the sequel trilogy animated show that we both tried to watch in the past. Neither one of us finished it, but
yeah.
We actually get a character from that show in here. But they're also setting up really big things, and I can see why this show is a bit polarizing, I think, for the more mainstream Star Wars fans, all the normies out there who have only watched the live action stuff and have never delved into the vast world of Star Wars animation. Because to really enjoy this show, you need to know the past history of these characters. I compare it to, like, it's like if you watch The Empire Strikes Back as your first Star Wars, you're going to be very confused 5 minutes into the movie when the guy you just met named Luke is talking to a ghost named Ben. You're going to be like, why the hell is any of this going on? I feel like it's very much the same way. When this girl named Sabine is talking about this hologram of Ezra who's saying, like, I know I can count on you. It's like, if you've seen the end of Rebels, that scene means so much more.
Yeah.
But if you're just being introduced to Sabine and Ezra like this, you're not gonna have the context you need to engage. Which is, this show should not have been called Ahsoka Season 1.
It's Rebels Season 5.
Yeah, it should have been promoted as a continuation of the animation.
I agree.
But I think from, like, a marketing perspective, like Disney marketing people, they're like, no, we can't tell people they have to watch a cartoon before they watch this big budget streaming show. So can't you do like an opening text thing? Isn't that a Star Wars thing? That's how your marketing people would look at that, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like, like Dave Filoni got like this big casting with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. And then, they bring her back in the Book of Boba Fett, and they're like, okay, Dave, do you want to make a spin-off show with this character? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, of course, I would love to. I created Ahsoka. And then he just went to his notebook, and he pulled out his notes for, Rebels Season 5, or whatever. There was a plan, they end Rebels planting the seeds for, at the time, what would have been an animated show post Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And you could still call it Rebels. I guess, they're not really rebels anymore. They're, the people who fought the rebellion, and now they're just kind of doing things while the New Republic reigns, but they're not, rebelling against them. Yeah. But I don't know what you would call that. But there was a show there that was set up at the end of Rebels. But instead we get Ahsoka Season 1, which it does tell... Ahsoka is the main character, but this isn't the Ahsoka show. This is, Ahsoka and Friends. This is Ahsoka and the Ghost Crew. Yeah.
Actually, that was something that I wasn't a super fan of when I first saw it, because I thought this would be more Ahsoka-centric, on her story. Especially, I was hoping for more of the Mortis stuff with her, which I think we're going to get in Season 2. I think
Season 2 is...
strong, for sure. But
I'd be shocked if we don't go back to Mortis in Season 2.
When I think of Ahsoka, I don't really associate her with Rebels as much as I associate her with Clone Wars. Because, Rebels, she's, there, but she's not... she's not the family.
The first episode of Clone Wars is technically, the movie.
Yeah.
Which is, the introduction of Ahsoka. And then the end of Clone Wars is, we see the end of the war from her perspective. So, yeah, there's not a main character of Clone Wars. It's an ensemble that, anyone in the galaxy could be a main character of an episode. But she's... I think the... I wouldn't say the central focus, I guess, but she's I guess the character who has that through line of she enters the war at the beginning of the show, and then she exits the war at the end of the show. It's kind of her Clone Wars experience along with all this other stuff that happens at the same time.
Yeah. So when I first saw this, I was a little disappointed. Even though I really like Rebels, I was really hoping it would be more Ahsoka. I wanted to explore more of the weird Ahsoka shit, which I know they're gonna do, but I just have to be patient. But I definitely like this more and more every time I rewatch it. Some other things that kind of bother me, just broad strokes thoughts on this season. I'm still not 100% sold on the actor for Ezra. I don't know why.
I thought he was perfect.
He looks so skinny and scrawny.
That's how Ezra looked.
I don't know. I feel like Ezra was a little bit thicker, but maybe it's his beard is throwing me off. If he shaves, maybe I'll be oh, okay, there's Ezra.
Maybe when we see him again, he'll be clean shaven. Yeah,
but what was frustrating is I thought that Jason Syndulla actually looked more like Ezra than Ezra looks like Ezra in this.
But he's Jason's 9.
I know. And I was damn, that kid looks more like what I think Ezra would look like. But, younger, obviously. So, yeah. What else happened in this? I had one more thing I went... Oh, the only other thing that I kind of struggled with was the far, far away galaxy ended up being one of those planets, as we say, whenever they're kind of
because it has goofy little
aliens with funny language, and they're kind of
I liked them though.
They're alright, but that was a surprise for me. I wasn't really expecting to have a goofy planet in my hopefully serious show, I guess is what I was wanting.
But it's when you're watching the original trilogy, and it's oh, you get this serious big battle with Darth Vader killing rebels and stormtroopers taking prisoners, and then you get before the Ewoks you have the Jawas, right? So it's you have the Jawas shouting out Utini and stunning R2-D2, and then having all the wacky droids and their sand crawlers. It's
right.
I feel Star Wars has always had the goofiness. You gotta have a little goofy to go along with the serious stuff. But
yeah, and like I said, I was better braced for it on rewatch, but the first time I remember being ugh. It takes my brain a lot longer to wrap around that, I guess.
But I thought you really liked the show. I thought you were a big fan of it.
Yeah,
because
I am.
When we first met, you really hyped it up to me. You're
what?
You haven't watched it yet?
I love so much about this show. I fucking love having the world between Worlds. Sorry, is that what it's called? I
Yeah,
don't
the
even
world
know.
between worlds.
I always want to say something else and it sounds weird, but I love all of that. I like the bring back of Hayden Christensen as Anakin.
See, those are all things that like I wasn't excited about. Like I was like, oh, like the world between worlds. That's like a weird Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Hayden Christensen. I don't want this prequel cringe in this new show.
I loved having Hu Yang the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, he's an awesome character. I loved his Clone Wars episode.
That was an amazing surprise to me.
So much love. Also love that he's extremely organized. He's one of my favorite characters. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that in Clone Wars, like the organization porn, when he would like pull out that drawer and everything was organized.
He's a droid after my own heart.
Yeah.
And then I also super loved Sabine. I think she's cast really well. No complaints. Does a great job in this. Hera, obviously, great casting. I obviously love Rosario Dawson. I feel like the girls in the show just like crush it. Like the women are just out here nailing these roles, doing really good adaptations of these animated characters. The costume design is really good. What were you gonna say?
The Sabine actor is the only one that I'm unsure about.
Oh man, I think she was cast really well.
Rosario Dawson took me a long time to warm up to too, but
I like her a lot too.
I remembered though, like I like her so much more in this show. Maybe it's like when she was being directed by Filoni, he makes her be like more like the Ahsoka of the animated shows.
But I also really like Baylan Skoll. I don't super love his apprentice Shen, but Baylan's costume, like with his like knight in shining armor, Jedi Knight, not a knight, like outfit vibe is so cool. His beard is incredible. He seems honorable even though he's like a bad guy. Like he has like an honor about him. Like he's very reluctant to like want to kill Ahsoka because he recognizes that she's really awesome in the Force and like was a former Jedi. So I think, and I'm trying to think. There was some other like Morgan Elsbeth coming back was a good. I was excited to see more of her from The Mandalorian because I thought she was a really neat character then. So it's cool to get more. Do you want to do episode breakdowns?
Sure.
Or do you have any opening thoughts?
Let's just. I said mine before yours. But let's just go through the season, starting with the first episode. We can talk about each individually. Although this is a very serialized show. It kind of is just like one big arc. But Taylor, tell us about Part 1, Master and Apprentice.
Baylan Skoll, a fallen Jedi, and his apprentice Shin Hati assault a New Republic cruiser to free Morgan Elsbeth. Morgan informs them that the former Jedi Ahsoka Tano, who apprehended and interrogated Morgan, is searching for a star map that will lead to Thrawn. The last remaining Grand Admiral of the fallen Galactic Empire, Thrawn has been missing for years, since he and rebel hero Ezra Bridger were taken to an unknown location by a pod of Purrgil. Ahsoka fears that Thrawn could return and help rebuild the Empire, but is also hopeful that Ezra can be found alive. She and the ancient Jedi training droid Hu Yang obtain the star map based on information from Morgan, but are unable to unlock it. New Republic General Hera Syndulla informs Ahsoka of Morgan's escape and suggests she get help unlocking the map from Sabine Wren, Ahsoka's former Padawan learner. Hera and Sabine were both close with Ezra before his disappearance. Ahsoka reluctantly visits Sabine, who she has not seen in years, on Lothal. After Sabine unlocks the map, Shin steals it and stabs Sabine during a lightsaber duel. Literally through her guts. Like, she stabbed Sabine, and I was like, well, that's the end of Sabine. But it was not. We were very lucky. But I thought this was a really good episode, like, setting the scene and everything, and also bringing in all these characters and trying to explain them to audience members who haven't seen Rebels.
Yeah.
I think they do a genuinely decent job. But I do think, like, without all of that, and we already touched on this, but without, like, having watched Rebels, like, this is just not gonna hit as hard.
Yeah, like, I can't imagine what the show would be like if you hadn't watched Rebels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, because so much of this, they talk about Sabine off screen when it's just like Hera and Ahsoka. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the audience is expected to already understand the dynamics between Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera
Yeah.
to some extent.
But the only thing that, does keep us on equal footing is we don't know, like, what these people have been up to for about 10 years. Like, we haven't really seen Hera and
Yeah.
Sabine,
And that
and,
is
like, where are they?
I guess that's a frustration I have. Like, I want to know what Ahsoka was up to during the original trilogy.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm okay. Like, I feel like I've heard stories here or there and, some of the other media and, like, the books and comics and stuff. But there's some canon explanations for what Hera was up to. Like, and we see the Ghost is there at the Battle of Scarif in Rogue One. And supposedly she was at the Battle of Endor also. We just never see her there. But I would have liked to have learned more. Like, I want to know why Ahsoka isn't, like, more involved with the Rebel characters that we know. Like, I figured she was busy doing something. My theory was that she was
Inquisitor
she was
stuff.
going after all the Inquisitors, but that's not true.
We don't know that for
We don't know where
sure.
the Inquisitors ended up. We don't know when the last Inquisitor was killed. There is an Inquisitor in this show, but he doesn't seem to be an Inquisitor anymore. He has, like, a name. He's Marok, right?
Marok.
Marok.
Yeah.
He's not, like, 12th brother or something.
Right.
But I don't know, maybe he's an ex-Inquisitor. Because we just saw this character in the Darth Maul show as an Inquisitor.
Uh-huh.
So...
Yeah, when they got disbanded, he went rogue, I guess.
Or he died and came back as some type of undead servant
Maybe.
Of the Night Sisters. Because, we know that they have a history of doing that and also do it in the show, as we'll discuss. But yeah, so when I watched Ahsoka for the first time, I guess 2.5 years ago with you, I had done a good job, like avoiding any spoilers, any information. Like, I don't really like the Star Wars fandom as a whole. I'm sure most of them are great, but there's just, like, a lot of jerks, and it's just easier not to participate in that.
Sure.
But yeah, so I kind of enjoy my Star Wars. I don't know. I wouldn't say privately because then I do this podcast with you to talk about it. But I guess, like, we do our own thing with Star Wars. So like right now, like, we don't know jack shit about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and we plan to keep it that way for the next couple of days. But I had no idea that Hu Yang, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I'd never say it out loud because it's like it's not a typical droid name, It's not
Hu
like
Yang.
4594 or something,
Yeah.
like D4R6, but Hu Yang, voiced by David Tennant, like he was in the Clone Wars. But that was a great surprise, and having Ahsoka on, like, this old, it's actually a Clone Wars era ship, that kind of spinny ship.
Yeah.
But traveling with this ancient droid who's helped almost every Jedi ever build their lightsaber, she really does feel like this relic from the past.
Yeah, they do a good job with framing her as being, like, kind of stuck in the Clone Wars a little bit. Like, it's really good symbolism that she hasn't gotten over everything that happened to her that was, like, terrible. Like, and I like that they explore that in this season, and we can talk about that more in episode 5.
I like the introduction of Balin, how mysterious he is.
Yeah.
But, he shows up claiming to be a Jedi with his apprentice. And they're on an old Clone Wars ship, too. The ship that they're on, it's like the same model ship. It's actually the same model ship that I think Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin went to Mortis on.
Okay.
Which is interesting, because we were just saying, like, we think there's going to be Mortis in Season 2. But
Definitely.
if you didn't watch Clone Wars, and you didn't watch, like, one of the weirdest, most bizarre arcs of Clone Wars, which in and of itself is kind of one of the most weirdest, most bizarre Star Wars shows. But yeah, then you have no idea what Mortis is, and it's so different from anything else in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But basically, one time in the Clone Wars, Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka went to another world, maybe, where they met these 3 Force gods, and one represented balance, and one represented the light side, and one represented the dark side. And the one who represented the light side, like, gave her life energy to resurrect Ahsoka. And maybe the other 2 died also, or, like, I don't know. We don't know, like, what really happens with Mortis at the end of that episode, but something happens there. Uh, so maybe Ahsoka season 2 will get some answers on that. But yeah, this episode it introduces Balin as this very mysterious character, and when the show came out, the news had already broke that Ray Stevenson had died. It had happened just like a few months before this, I guess. But yeah, it was a very bittersweet experience, like watching this. It's a good performance. He's very, I say like he's mysterious, but he's one of those roles where you have to do a lot with very little. Like he doesn't have like that much dialogue, but like when he's on screen, he's always very
regal.
Yeah, there's something captivating.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's that he has like a very silent strength, like a big confidence, and you get the vibe that he's there because he wants to be there, because he's like got his own agenda. Like I feel like they have like a lot of his dialogue is like a double meaning, like he's saying one thing to appease Morgan, but then he's also like, well, I'm also still trying to get what I need kind of vibe.
It's really interesting how they interact with Morgan Elsbeth too. Like I guess they rescue her from prison in this first episode. I don't know if it's here or maybe within like the next episode. But when we learn that Morgan Elsbeth is a witch, when she says like I'm one of the Night Sisters of Dathomir, and then little Shin, the apprentice, and you notice like Morgan Elsbeth, like they never talk to each other directly. Like she kind of like gives orders of what to do. Mm-hmm. Morgan Elsbeth does, and then Shin like always like looks at Balin, and follows his lead. But you get the impression like, oh, these two gals don't like each other, at all.
Morgan is definitely like, I'm not dealing with that little shit.
Yeah. But I loved the Lothal stuff we get in this episode. Yeah. I mean, like, it's so cool. You have Clancy Brown playing a live-action Ryder Azadi, the governor of Lothal. Same character he voiced in Rebels. For multiple seasons. He was one of the bigger recurring characters on that show. And then after that, you see Sabine going down like that same road, that we saw so much of in Rebels, like especially like the first season or two. They're on Lothal, but and she goes to the old Bridger house, like Ezra Bridger's family house. Like it's this big tower because they also did an anti-fascist podcast. Yeah. They were also podcasters. But they basically would broadcast these anti-Palpatine messages during the early days of the Empire. And you see Sabine go home to Ezra's family's house, and she pulls out the holo message from the last episode of Rebels, where like the last thing Ezra says to her 10 years earlier is, I know I can count on you. And she's like asking the holo message, like, count on me for what? And then, that's the end of Rebels. Then we get to hear the beginning of Ahsoka 10 years later, gone from 1 BBY to 9 ABY. And she's doing the same thing. She's still listening to this message, trying to figure out, what is he counting on me? Like, I hope I don't mess this up. He's counting on me for something. I don't know what. You get the impression that she's never moved on past Ezra. He's, like, occupied her thoughts every day. She lives in the house he grew up in and is looking at this holo message at the end of the day, thinking like, what am I gonna have to do? Like, what does he expect me to do? What is he counting on?
Yeah.
And if you hadn't watched Rebels, you go into this episode and you're like, oh yeah, I have no idea the significance of any of this. I'm just like, okay, I guess this is where she lives. She has a cat. Cool.
Yeah. Poor kitty got left there.
Well, but by the end of the show, Ezra's back, so he's gonna go home and be like, wow, not only did Sabine redecorate and paint everything, but I guess I also have a cat now.
Surprise!
Yeah. Probably needs the litter box scooped.
Yeah. My only other thought on this episode is we get that star map that's like kind of a circular sphere, and that is straight up the map from Treasure Planet.
Yeah, you pointed that out. Little Disney crossover.
Yeah, it is. And because they even open it the same way. Like when Sabine unlocks the map, it's like you have to like move the pieces and push buttons on it or whatever in a certain way, and it opens up. And like that's what Jim Hawkins did. Like it's the exact same map.
I just also want to point out that I like that Jai, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Jai Kell.
The kid who is voiced by the kid who plays Zuko.
Yeah.
It's either Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender or the guy who voiced Robin in Teen Titans.
No, it's Zuko.
Okay.
Confident.
Because I get the two of them mixed up sometimes. But I like having him back, and is it the same guy who plays Ezra at the end of the show? He plays like the young version in the hologram here, or is this a different actor? Or is this like the same guy with no
I think
beard?
it's the same guy.
But I think he's like really good as a young Ezra, like because here you see him like without the beard, and I think he looks like, oh yeah, that's Ezra.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, in the hologram he does have more Ezra vibes. I think it is the beard that's throwing me off.
Yeah, but like I guess he's like 18 or 19 when him and Thrawn get zapped to this other galaxy. And then when they go over there, he's 28 or 29.
Yeah.
So he spent like his entire 20s living in the wilderness with a bunch of hermit crabs. That's rough. But I'm ready to move on to episode 2. Part 2, Toil and Trouble. I just want to point out that's a Macbeth reference, obviously. But there's some fun episode titles. A couple of these are references, so we'll try to point those out. But Taylor, tell us what happens in Part 2, Toil and Trouble.
Balin and Shin take the map to the planet Cetos. Morgan explains that Thrawn is trapped in another galaxy, and the map shows the path to get there, starting from Cetos. While recovering from Shin's attack, Sabine tells Ahsoka about the map but does not know which planet the path to the other galaxy starts on. Ahsoka defeats an assassin droid that Shin left behind on Lothal, and Sabine traces its origins to Morgan's factories on Corellia. Ahsoka and Hera travel to the Corellian shipyards where they discover a massive hyperdrive being built by workers loyal to the Empire. As a transport takes off with the hyperdrive, Hera chases after it while Ahsoka duels Marok, a former Jedi hunting Imperial Inquisitor who is working with Balin and Shin. Marok and the transport escape, but not before Hera's astromech droid chopper attaches a tracking device to the transport. Ahsoka and Hera arrest the shipyard workers. After a discussion with Hu Yang, Sabine decides that she wants to accompany Ahsoka and become her Padawan again. Ahsoka gets Sabine from Lothal, and they follow the tracking device to Cetos.
So here we get that Inquisitor, or possible Inquisitor. Well, I guess we know he's an Inquisitor now from
Yeah, he says
Maul, but...
former Inquisitor there in
Okay.
the summary.
So, but this is before Ahsoka kills him. But yeah, Marok. I just want to point out that I've seen other fans bring up that he's named after an Arthurian knight who was turned into a werewolf by a witch trained by Morgan Le Fay in King Arthur lore. Well, I mean, first of all, okay, werewolf. So we know why Dave Filoni gives a shit, because the man loves wolves. Hey, there's some wolf shit that shows up in this show, believe it or not. But it also is a guy who's like transformed into this beast by a witch. So I think he might be a servant of Morgan, not Le Fay, Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah.
So witches named Morgan, they might turn you into a monster that serves them.
Better watch out.
Yeah.
That's my middle name.
Yeah.
I really liked the drama with the Corellian shipyard stuff. Like, I loved Hera and Ahsoka, like, tracking down to the factory or whatever and seeing the hyperdrive being built. And they're like, hey, that's not a normal-sized hyperdrive. Where is that going?
Yeah, and they're repurposing the Imperial ship parts for other stuff.
Yeah, which we've seen in other stuff. We saw that in The Mandalorian. But I liked having that, like, kind of like detective work that Hera does. And it was really cool to see them like track down the ship and then track that ship to Cetos, and then I don't know, like it was a good way to get the information that like story wise it was interesting.
It also reminds me of Deep Space Nine back in Star Trek, but like Kira and the Bajorans after like, oh, we've won our independence from the Cardassians, and now like instead of being a freedom fighter, I guess I'm an administrator in this government, and that's a very different world to inhabit. And you kind of see Hera go through a similar struggle here. But cool to see Corellia in post-Empire. It looks a little nicer than like when Han Solo was growing up there during the time of the Empire. Mm-hmm. And the guy who like runs the Corellian, I don't know, junkyard or factory or whatever, the guy who was the guy who says like, oh, Empire, Republic, Rebels, whatever. Like it's all just doesn't. It's all. I'll leave the politics to you. I'm just a businessman. Like my loyalty is to my investors. So a lot of business people, I guess, have that outlook in real life. But yeah, he was wearing a lapel pin of like the Republic logo of like the Rebel logo, and then
Yeah.
but at the same time he was doing that, he was like selling this material back to Imperial remnants.
Yeah.
So this is kind of funny. It's very, very I don't know, real world behavior, I
Yeah.
think. Um, but this episode ends with the ending of Rebels. We're
Yep.
at the end of Rebels, they liberate Lothal from the Empire, and then they have this flash forward epilogue where they explain that the Empire never returned. That then they had the rise of the New Republic, and that's when after the war, Ahsoka and Sabine team up to go save Ezra. And they have like Sabine has like long hair
Yeah.
in the first episode, and then here like she cuts her hair Kanan style. Like
Yep.
remember how he cut his hair like right before he died?
Yep.
He was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go out like looking for it. He's like, I'm gonna go save Hera, but I'm gonna be like this like handsome, proper looking Jedi. Like I think he was trying to be like, I'm gonna go out as like I'm gonna prove I could have been a real one. I could have been like a true Jedi. But I think he still kind of comes off very Kanan. As he dies. But yeah, this is kind of a shout out to Kanan, I think, her cutting her hair like that. And we get it's a little different though. If you go back and look at Rebels, when Ahsoka shows up, because we just watched this, and I was like, wait, she doesn't have like a staff like that.
Yeah, and she doesn't have the white cloak.
Yeah, it's a little different. So I was poking around, I was looking at some interviews and stuff with Filoni today, but I understand, I think, why he didn't put her in the white cloak here. But he really wants Ahsoka to come back as, in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf comes back
the
as
white.
Gandalf the... Like, Filoni has talked about this. He said, like, this is Ahsoka coming back as Ahsoka the White.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's after she falls. Like, there's an episode we're going to get to, The Fallen Jedi. And then when she comes back...
She's very white
Yes,
and light.
like
yeah.
her wardrobe has actually changed.
Yeah,
so
completely.
He just saves that moment until later.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of thoughts on that and where I think that might go and the importance of Ahsoka and the larger Jedi mythos.
Cool. Well, I'm also just going to real quick be like, hell yeah, I'm excited to have a Lady Gandalf representation. Like the white wizard witch, I guess, but not. But... I had one more thought on this episode, but now I can't remember.
Was it about Sabine trying to move the cup with the Force? That's
No.
in this episode,
That
right?
is in this episode. Oh, but I do love Ahsoka's living area space, where the table and couches recede come up and down from the floor.
Right, that's in the Jedi ship, right?
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Like, they could just have the table if they want, or they could just have the chairs or if they want. It just is a really multi-purpose space, and I think that's
And it's
neat.
convenient for your production budget,
Yeah.
too, because then you can shoot a bunch of scenes on the same set.
Yeah. It's such a... Yeah, because they also do, like, their training sequences in that same room.
But yeah, it's like you have to minimize space on a ship. It's
Yeah.
like, well, you try to minimize space on
I
sets.
love it.
So,
I thought
yeah.
that was cool as hell.
Yeah, it's a great design. And again, it's an old Clone Wars design. So, like, I don't know, maybe this is like a ship that, like, Filoni helped design or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we should move on to part 3, Time to Fly.
Okay, Sabine restarts her lightsaber training under Ahsoka and Huyang's guidance, but struggles with her inability to use the Force like other Jedi. Hera meets with New Republic Chancellor Mon Mothma and several senators and asks them to send additional forces to Cetos. Her request is denied when Senator Hamato Ziono, who does not believe Thrawn and Ezra are alive, accuses Hera of using the threat of Thrawn's return to redirect resources to a futile search for Ezra. Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huyang arrive at Cetos and discover the Eye of Sion, Morgan's large starship in which the hyperdrive is being installed. Shin and Marok attack with a squadron of fighters, during which Ahsoka attempts to continue Sabine's lessons. Forced to land on the planet below, they pass through a pod of Purgil, evade the fighters, and hide in a forest. Based on a scan of the Eye of Sion, Huyang determines that the ship can make an unusually fast and long hyperspace jump, which would allow Morgan to reach the other galaxy, something that migrating Progil can do naturally. Balin sends Shen, Marok, and assassin droids to find them. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, we have Eye of Sion now, not just Eye of Sauron.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Lord of the Rings references throughout this show.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not the first time that Star Wars has dabbled with Tolkien. I mean, there's also a lot of like Norse mythology and Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of the Rebels characters, like all of their names are from mythology.
Oh.
Like you know, Canaan is like the Canaanites in the Bible. They were wiped out, kind of like the Jedi were wiped out. And Ezra he preserved the Ezra like kind of preserved Judaism and reintroduced it. So maybe this is like Ezra bridges galaxies, and then like he's gonna come back and maybe like help Luke bring in like some of that Jedi knowledge or something.
Hera is the mom god.
And she's the mom of the show.
Yeah, she is.
And I guess there's no mythological chopper, but the Sabines were a thing in I guess like Roman history or mythology, but I think they were wiped out also. Which the Mandalorians.
Okay. What about Zeb?
Zeb. I'm sure something.
Yeah.
Well, what's his real name? Eusebius Aurelius.
Oh no, Garazeb.
Garazeb.
That sounds like Christianity religious.
Yeah, there's something in the Bible. I'd have to think. I'm sure it's something though. If all these I'm not the first person to point these out, but in Ahsoka it continues.
Yeah.
Like our two dark Jedi characters with Shin and Skull they're the wolves in Nordic mythology that chase the sun and the moon.
Ah.
So they're wolves. So
yeah.
But a lot of that stuff going on here.
This is fun. I like doing this dissection of why Dave Filoni's brain is working these things in. You know.
But we get Mon Mothma in this episode, and she knows Chopper. Because, she met him way back in Rebels Season 3.
Yeah, when they escorted her.
Yeah, so I just like reminding people, like, oh yeah, Mon Mothma, Genevieve O'Reilly from Andor, also knows the Ghost Crew. And they've also met C-3PO, who pops up later, and they met Leia, who ends up helping them out. Yeah. So, see, none of these seem kind of like forced cameos or anything. It's like none of this feels like small universe to me, because it's like, oh, but they
all
actually,
have precedent.
yeah, like they all have met previously over the years. But we get Jason in this episode too, so it kind of I like seeing little Jason Syndulla, some of his Force abilities manifest. But if you don't care about Kanan. And I'm also looking at it like, oh, that's Cham Syndulla's grandson. So that's kind of, this guy's going to grow up knowing like, oh, my grandfather was this legendary general from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But, I was curious to get another look at him since the 2.5 years ago when I watched this previously. I'm curious what the future of Jason Syndulla will be. But this Hera's desperation to find Ezra, I think, has so much more meaning if you understand her relationship with Ezra. Like they're basically mother and son. Yeah, like she kind of became his foster mom.
Yeah, and like that was her husband's like last apprentice, also like his legacy.
Yeah,
and like obviously she loves and cares for Ezra, but also I think she's thinking about Kanan too, of like getting more closure, and like getting him back, and it also is ripping her relationship with her adopted daughter Sabine, who misses Ezra and has had like this weird aunt Jedi training issues. So I feel like Hera's like, oh, if we get Ezra back, like this will help reestablish Sabine and Ahsoka's relationship and make Sabine more comfortable.
I can fix these other two members of my family.
Yeah, but honestly, I think like still number one, Hera is still like Thrawn cannot come back. Like as much as she wants Ezra to be alive and she wants all of these things to work out with her family, Thrawn was the worst to Cham, to her mom, to Hera, right? Like their family anyway, like their family traditions. Like he stole their Kalikori and was like invaded their home and literally
Yeah,
had
he
his
like
office in their home.
lived in their house. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of
So
like a Moff Gideon move. That's like the Empire's just going to come in and take.
yeah, and like she's witnessed like how terrible he was to the Twi'lek. What is Ryloth? The planet Ryloth.
Yeah.
And then
Man, that planet cannot catch a fucking break.
no, and same like with Lothal. Like she saw all of these same like repetitive like issues that Thrawn dishes out basically on Lothal. So I do think that number one, she's still definitely like, I don't think her priorities are skewed, but I can definitely see how everyone can assume that. Like, I think it's like, this thing is important and also it personally benefits me. It's not the other way around. Do you know what I mean?
By the way, that Senator Ziono, so his kid is the protag of Resistance. But the sequel trilogy era animated show that, as I mentioned a moment ago, Taylor and I both tried to watch. And before we knew each other, like back when it was coming out, we both tried to watch it and we made it.
I think I made it through like 5 episodes.
Yeah, I showed you like the because it's still on my Disney Plus. It's like I've watched like the first 8 episodes, but I haven't gone past that or whatever it is. I showed it to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I think that's where I gave up too.
Yeah.
But I also saw that a lot of fans speculated that his dad in that show is actually a member of the First Order. Or like he's like a Republic senator who's secretly working with the First Order.
I wouldn't be surprised after the way he acts in Ahsoka.
But yeah, he's meant to be pretty unlikable here.
Yeah.
He's the senator that we like root against because we like Mon Mothma and Hera and these other characters. But yeah, good job from the actor, by the way. He was very
convincing.
Yeah, a very hateable guy. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I hate that dude. So
Yeah.
Good performance.
What do you think about Sabine and Ahsoka's Jedi lessons and Hu Yang being there to kind of be the middleman?
I like Hu Yang says in this episode that you come next in a long line of unorthodox Jedi or something like that. But yeah, so Sabine is trained by Ahsoka, who was trained by Anakin, who, he was like the chosen one who came into the Jedi Order at 9 years old, so very unorthodox. And then before
Obi-Wan.
him, Obi-Wan was a by-the-book guy,
Yeah.
but his master, Qui-Gon, was like this weird New Age hippie Jedi.
And then Qui-Gon's master, Dooku.
Who went rogue and ended up leading the Separatist forces.
Yeah, so Ahsoka comes from a line of at least 2 Sith Lords.
And you could even say that Dooku's master, who was Yoda, like Dooku was actually Yoda's Padawan.
Yeah.
But Yoda's kind of a unique Jedi in and of himself. Like, how many 900-year-old Jedi were there?
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, very a very strange lineage to be the and now you're the the Mandalorian girl whose natural force talent is subpar
0.
to like
Even
literally
Hu
like
Yang literally tells her that every other person he'd ever met that was like in Jedi training was better at that than her. He was like, you are dead ass last.
I mean, honestly, given his age, I don't think this is an exaggeration, but he probably hundreds of thousands of younglings.
Yeah.
And she's the worst.
I was like, damn, Hu Yang, that was rude.
I mean, someone has to be last place.
But to be fair, like, Sabine didn't even start Jedi training until she was at least 19 or 20.
Right. And I love that. I do have some issues with the story arc, but I love that it exists. I love that it's here.
Yeah.
Because, especially after the rise of Skywalker, when they turn Rey back into being it is about who your family is, and you're so strong because you're Palpatine's granddaughter. And, like, I loved it more, and it's just like, oh, she was just, like, this nobody. And, like, the Force just decided to make her strong in the Force. Like, I love that. Like, yeah, like, any of us has, like, the potential to be, like, a vessel of the Force, you know?
Right.
Like, we're supposed to be connected to all of it. Because I was taught about the Force in the original trilogy when Yoda says, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. It wasn't no midi-chlorians in your blood.
Right.
Like, it was an actual kind of, like, spiritual thing that all living beings were connected to. So I like the idea that, yeah, someone who does not have a natural talent for the Force, if they work really hard and study, they could still learn to move a cup or
Yeah.
make something float or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just like I kind of compare it to like music. You can sometimes you have like these families where like, oh yeah, just like musical talent kind of runs in the family. Like and then these kids picked up instruments when they were like 3 years old, and then they're just like really good at music and stuff. But anyone in the fucking world can learn how to play a musical instrument. It's just some people are gonna have more of a struggle. Yeah, some people might have more of like a built-in talent. But anyone could spend enough time to like learn how to play the guitar or play the piano.
Sure.
So I kind of think the Force should be the same way.
Yeah. One thing I really love that they highlight in these first few episodes is that miscommunication slash this like I don't even know the right word, but like this like the lack of connection almost between Sabine and Ahsoka. Like when they're kind of even flying the ship together and they're like, "Can you please just fly it like this way so I can shoot like this?" Like there's like this like tension, this conflict that always like we see when in Rebels, like Sabine and Hera like don't even have to talk to each other to know how to like get what they need because they're so closely bonded and they've been doing all these missions together.
Who in Rebels?
Hera and Sabine.
Oh, because I was also thinking like Kanan and Ezra.
Yeah.
How, like the Force jump that they try to do at the end of this episode when Sabine has to help Ezra make
In the
jump.
series, yeah.
That was, or I'm sorry, in the series when we get to that eventually. But that's something that in Rebels, Kanan and Ezra did all the time.
Yeah.
There's like that one episode we watched where like they're joking about doing that.
Yeah.
But it was it was jarring to go from that to here. You get like the two Jedi who like they're so out of sync.
Yeah. And but what I really love about this, I love seeing Ahsoka right now in this like she's very like vulnerable. Like I feel like she is, and she's like hyper independent and has been used to being on her own. Like she walked away from the order. Like I'm standing my.
She doesn't want to be on the ship with her former Padawan
right.
that she broke up with, that she walked out on.
Yeah, but I love that this issue of trust comes up with Ahsoka so much in this season. That she doesn't trust Sabine, but she also doesn't trust herself. Like there's like this struggle between them, and it's all based on Ahsoka's like basically her trauma of leaving the order and then Anakin becoming the Sith Lord. And like
Vader is Anakin.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of broke her
completely. And it's so interesting to see like we'll get to it and then I think it might be the next episode or the episode after where she really starts to work through like her trust issues. But I love how well they write this disconnect between them because it really makes it so much better later when they do finally start to sync up.
I also want to comment on just how fucking badass it is when Ahsoka goes outside of the ship.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of what makes Ahsoka feel more like the animated Ahsoka we know and love, is that they can do some of these more outrageous visuals in this show. But this is something that Clone Wars, like, they wouldn't have done it casually. It's kind of a big deal when someone goes on the outside of a ship, but they would do this stuff from time to time. They would do it occasionally. Or, same thing in, like, the first episode when she cuts that circle in the ground with her lightsabers to defeat the HK droid. That's what they're called? HKs?
Yeah, the droids, yeah.
But, the assassin droid. When she's doing the Indiana Jones type Night Sister temple exploration. But yeah, she gets to do some like really cool, badass, bombastic, visually stunning Jedi action. Like go on the outside of a ship while you're in this battle with these starfighters. And I loved the bad guy starfighters. They look like these like cool snub fighters. These cool, like, World War II planes or something. But I'm ready to move on to the next episode, the halfway point, Part 4, Fallen Order.
No.
Is that not right?
Fallen Jedi.
Okay, I'm sorry. Fallen Jedi.
I'm pretty sure Fallen Order is a game.
It's a video game. The video game is called Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh.
So that's why I did that.
But yeah, Fallen Jedi. Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huyang dispatch Balin's droids. Okay, sorry. I feel like I said that weird. Balin is right. Okay, fearing that Morgan and Balin will soon have what they need to jump to the other galaxy, Ahsoka and Sabine head towards Balin's location. Huyang asks them to stay together, and Ahsoka warns Sabine that they may need to give up the chance to find Ezra if it means preventing Thrawn's return. Confronted by Shin and Marok, Ahsoka kills Marok while Sabine fights Shin and encourages Ahsoka to go on alone. Ahsoka engages Balin and retrieves the map, but drops it when it burns her hand. Shin flees when Sabine gets the upper hand, and Sabine arrives to see Balin send Ahsoka plummeting into the ocean. Sabine threatens to destroy the map, but hands it over when Balin promises to reunite her with Ezra. The map's details are uploaded to the Eye of Sion, and then Balin destroys the map. They jump to hyperspace as Hera arrives, against orders, with a squadron of New Republic fighters. Ahsoka awakens in the World Between Worlds, a mystical plane that connects different points of time, and sees her former master, Anakin Skywalker. Good fights in this one. We have a lot of Sabine, Shin, like Sabine versus Shin, and then Ahsoka versus Balin, and I love the like kind of the equitable match between them all. Even though Sabine isn't really a good Jedi, she's still a really good fucking fighter because she's Mandalorian. So she holds her ground pretty good against Shin. But I love the part where Sabine like is like she kind of like puts her hand out like she's gonna use the Force, and Shin like braces herself for being smacked with the Force, and then it's she's like, oh, you don't have powers.
But if you're in a lightsaber fight, think how embarrassing that is.
No, that's literally like she couldn't get it up. Like, like that is so awkward, and like I love though that Sabine like just like flicks her hand, and then she has like those little Mandalorian like bullets.
The wrist rockets.
The wrist rockets. Yeah. So like even though like Shin was like, haha, like she still got a little bit. It was just a really good moment, and I really like Ahsoka and Balin talking. Like you can tell like Balin has like this crazy radical like respect, but also like like
he's such an interesting bad guy. Like he's reluctant to fight. He doesn't want to fight her.
Yeah, no, because he doesn't want any more Force sensitive people to die. Like he's like, okay, we've lost enough of our kind, basically. But that's what I'm saying is like the main reason he's on this mission is he wants to get to that galaxy far away.
We don't know his true agenda, but I guess we know that he has ambitions to create a new order, a new. We know that he's fed up with the galaxy. He's had enough of republics and empires and Jedi and Sith. He's like, okay, we need a clean slate. We're gonna start things over. I'm going to be in charge of this new thing.
Yeah, and he definitely has. It's so funny because it is very heavily implied that he already knows about the Mortis gods, and he's looking for them that way because of like he knows so much about ancient Jedi history.
We also know that he's talked to Anakin at some point, who has gone to Mortis,
right?
So.
But they allegedly don't remember that.
Well,
but they do. It's like they go back and forth on that on the writing.
When did they remember it?
But in Rebels, Ahsoka remembered it. Oh. Because they like brought that up. She's like, oh, this is like that one thing. And then Morai, she finally gives the owl a name, Morai.
Yeah.
But something else I wanted to say about Balin, but I can't remember.
But I think he wants to be the...
He wants to be the
He wants
dad.
to be the balance, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to be the dad.
Because he uses the dark side, but he's clearly not consumed. He's not like, you know, power hungry. Like, this isn't like Darth Maul, you know, running around like trying to control everything.
Yeah, he seems way more level-headed. I do not... Well...
Like, honestly, like, well, go ahead.
It's okay. I was going to say, I do not like that he leaves his Padawan at like the end of this series. Like, he kind of frees her. But, like, that seems wrong.
I think he wants to... Well, I think he wants to replace her with...
Right. He needs Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I thought was really fun about watching all these fights with him and Ahsoka. And she, like, literally in this episode, he pushes her off that cliff. And he's like, haha, like... sucks to suck. Like, I didn't want to have to kill you, but here you go. But like, what's funny is the irony in that is like what he's looking for, he's literally fighting with in this scene, and he doesn't even know it. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in season 2. If he figures out that Ahsoka has the life force of the daughter keeping her alive. But in this episode, there's some other things. Like, I love the Stonehenge thing, like the Dathomiri witch, like, hinge, whatever, at Cetos.
Is it Cetos or Seos?
Cetos. Seatos.
Okay. I think that's something in mythology, too.
It looks Greek to me. But I really like the way that they have that all laid out. It feels like super ancient. It has the same vibes as like the Jedi Temple stuff from Rebels, and even in The Mandalorian, like when Grogu goes to that one planet and does his little force thing before he gets kidnapped. And that's when he like connects with Luke. But yeah, I really like all the visuals in this. Like, I love the way the map, when it's placed into the hinge, it expands and like becomes the whole space. And that's also in Treasure Planet. The round map does the same thing. It like creates this like hologram of like stuff all around you, like a spatial planet map thing. I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's beautiful. I love those details. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts on
Fallen Jedi? That title can apply to multiple characters, because Balin is a fallen Jedi.
Yep, Sabine, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, like, she falls at the end of the episode.
But she also fell out of the order.
Yeah, and then she also, like, falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then when she wakes up in the world between worlds...
She sees fallen Jedi Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, the most infamous Jedi to ever fall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff.
And we got Carson, our X-Wing pilot that we know from the Mandalorian show. Yeah. And one of the other X-Wing pilots is Brendan Wayne, who the guy who I met when we had him on a So Hell After Dark once a long time ago. But he is the guy playing the Mandalorian 90% of the time.
Cool.
When it's not Pedro Pascal or the guy I should learn the name of, because I talk about this so much. The guy who does the stunts.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool to see Brendan Wayne's face, actually. But
for sure.
Grandson of John Wayne. But, anywho...
I was going to say the other Mandalorian actor is Lateef Crowder.
Lateef Crowder.
So that we don't, we need to give him his flowers too.
Yeah. And he's the stunt guy, so that's actually,
yeah.
of all the people, he probably has the hardest job.
I think he does like all the martial arts stuff, but then the Wayne guy does like the shooting stuff.
Makes sense.
Like the blasting. Like there's two different guys for the two different fighting styles. But anyways,
is it gonna
back
be
to Ahsoka.
Shoot, or is it going to be swinging the darksaber?
If he's swinging the darksaber, I think that would be, what was his name? Lateef. But if it's gunslinging, it's the other guy.
Brendan Wayne. Okay,
We're nailing this. Go watch The Mandalorian behind the scenes and learn more than we can tell you. Okay. I had one more thing I wanted to say about this. Oh, it was the Sabine and Balin stuff. I really liked his, he didn't want to fight her either. He was like, I'll just manipulate her a little bit to, like, give me the map. But he also genuinely kind of seems like, I really don't care if you want to tag along, too, to come find your friend. Like, but he creates this rift between her and Ahsoka. Like, it's like this one final straw that, like, kind of could break the camel's back between them. But it ends up bringing them stronger together.
And while you were talking about that, I looked it up, and Ceto is an ancient mythological sea monster from Greek mythology.
There we go. All right, part 5, Shadow Warrior. Anakin tells Ahsoka that she has a chance to survive, and he has come to finish her training. He asks her to choose to live and attacks her. On Cetos, Hera and Huyang search for Ahsoka and Sabine. Hera's son, Jason, who has a connection to the Force like his father, Kanan Jarrus, hears the sounds of Ahsoka and Anakin fighting and directs the search party. Ahsoka relives fragments of her youth during the Clone Wars and expresses concerns about her legacy as a soldier and as the student of Anakin, who fell to the dark side and became the Sith Lord Darth Vader before being redeemed with his death. As Anakin continues to fight her, Ahsoka comes to terms with these issues and chooses to live. Anakin disappears, and the others find Ahsoka in the ocean. She wakes up with a new outlook on life and uses the Force to determine that Sabine went with Baylan to the New Galaxy. New Republic forces arrive to take Hera and Ahsoka into custody. Before they can, Ahsoka and Huyang enter the mouth of a Purrgil so the pod can take them to the New Galaxy. Hera and Jason remain behind.
Yeah, so a lot of world between worlds in this episode, and then also a lot of Jason. A lot of Jason use. I guess you see him use the Force a little bit in the previous episode. I forgot to mention, but when the big hyperdrive ring makes it jump into hyperspace, and they kill 2 or 3 X. I think it's 3 X-wing pilots, like Rodian and some other people, but. Like, Jason, like, he, like, feels them die in the Force. Like, he's got to, right? And then he looks at his mom and says, I have a bad feeling.
Yeah. But in this, it's really good, like, because they're in this, like, cool hinge spot, this, like, kind of witchy. I feel like it would be, it might not be, like, Force-specific, but it feels Force-adjacent. At least, like, this ancient spot.
Well, it's Night Sisters stuff, right? So the Night Sisters do... Okay, so... This is my current understanding of it. But the Night Sisters do magic that's different from the Force, but their magic is powered by or often powered by the Force. And the Night Sisters use I guess they mainly use the dark side, but Night Sisters on occasion will also learn to use the Force more traditionally like a Jedi or Sith.
Like Ventress, kind of.
Yes, like the example with Ventress. So, so it is, like, So, this planet is one of those Virgins in the Force planets.
Yeah.
Like, Baylan made some comment about it was, what was the word he used? But, like, Baylan pointed out that, you know, this is one of the unique planets. So, there's kind of like Lothal or Dagobah or, you know, there's, or Ilum. I guess has that because, you know, the Padawans had to go into or the younglings, they weren't Padawans yet, but they had to go face their fears from the dark side in the cave on Ilum. So, you know, the same way like Lothal had that temple that was a passageway to the world between worlds, like this planet. So this planet is really like connected to the Force because that's also like the Purrgil meeting spot on their way to their other galaxy they can travel to. You know, we eventually learned some Night Sister origin stuff in this show that's really cool. But I guess I'll hold off on that for now. But yeah, that setting where Hera's doing that investigation from with Jason and Chopper, it is a really cool location. Like, it is obviously AR wall because it's this big, like, round space. Yeah. So it's, like, perfect for those AR walls. But it looks so good with when, like, the star maps appear and stuff. Yeah. It looks so fucking cool. But yeah, I would love to like go visit that. I want that to be like something I can go to in a VR game and just like look around and feel like I'm there. There's some really cool Star Wars VR games, but they're normally like piloting a cockpit, not looking at cool star charts.
Well, do you want to talk about Ahsoka and the world between worlds?
Well, I was also going to comment on Chopper, I guess. Okay. Before we go to... But, like, Chopper kind of in charge of Jason is kind of cute.
He's a babysitter.
And then, is this the same episode when Carson, the X-Wing pilot, Hera kind of has to explain, like, who Kanan is? And Carson just says something like, oh... Or he's just
he's like, oh, okay. I guess we'll do that then.
But he's like the audience member who hasn't watched Rebels. It's like, I was like, that's them.
Yeah. He's like, I guess we accept this. Moving on.
So, yeah, let's get into, I know your favorite part, perhaps your favorite part of this entire show.
Yeah, I love the World Between Worlds stuff. I like seeing her and Anakin find together. Dude, Hayden Christensen came out swinging in this episode. Like, his form for lightsaber dueling is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he was good at that stuff in Revenge of the Sith. But he was also like way younger back then too. So,
but I feel like it just looks even more like exact and like meaningful. I don't know, like there's like a word I'm looking for that's just not coming to me. But every single move feels like purposeful and like with intent. And I really think that, like, you kind of brought this up to me that Hayden had probably watched all of Clone Wars to like see Anakin in animated form.
Yeah, I don't know if Rosario Dawson watched all the Clone Wars, but Hayden Christensen did. And that's cool.
And I feel like you can really see the difference between his like performances.
Well, he's not being directed by Lucas.
That too, but also like I feel like he holds himself so much better in this. Like you feel the confidence. And
Filoni directed this one himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
What episode? Shadow Warrior. Yeah. So written and directed by Filoni. Yeah, he's like, I ain't giving any control away to anyone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna direct it.
I love Filoni's confidence growing too, like going from never directing live action until The Mandalorian, and now he's literally in this show doing it.
He's directing the actor from Revenge of the Sith from 2005.
Isn't that crazy? I am so happy for Dave Filoni. Like, every time I think of him living his best life and living his dreams, I'm, like, so proud. And he's so giddy and humble about it, too.
He was interviewed to get the job on Clone Wars in 2005, like, right before Revenge of the Sith came out. And he tells the story, about, like, oh, I figured I would never get the job, but it would be a cool story to tell the other Star Wars fans I'm waiting in line with when I go to see Revenge of the Sith on opening night, and I'm waiting in line with a bunch of other people. And I'll tell them, like, oh, I got to go interview with George Lucas. But then, like, not only did he get the job, but now he's writing and directing Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith.
And also has his own character with a title TV show. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, like, you created Anakin's apprentice, and you get to, like, tell the story of the two of them together.
I'm so happy for him. Anyways, back to the World Between Worlds. Oh, so at first I struggled a little bit with having these, like, flashbacks of her youth. Because I was kind of like, we've seen all this, we know. But then again, you have to think, like, okay, a lot of people haven't seen the animated stuff, so they're trying to cover and bridge that gap. But I actually liked it the most this time because I was actually listening instead of just, like, watching. Because I think it takes me a few times before it really, like, all sinks in. And I think watching all this chronologically, everything's very fresh. Listening to her and Anakin, like, talk more was more important than, I guess, the visuals to me this time. And her struggle of being a soldier, even though, like, she wanted to be, like, this peaceful Jedi and stuff. And, like, those are all things that we do see her struggle with during the Clone Wars episodes. Like, there's many times where she's like, am I really just a soldier for this? And, like, especially, like, in season 7 when she's like, here we go again. Like,
even, like, the adult Jedi struggle with that sometimes. So, yeah, especially, like, the kid who's, like, that's been her entire Jedi experience, has been commanding clones to go fight and die in this war.
Yeah. And also, I think that it's cool to see this as Ahsoka as an adult reflecting back on her childhood and, like, having those moments where she's, like, frustrated with Anakin and he's, like, trying to be lighthearted and she's seeing through these cracks now. Like, now she's looking at it as a lens with red flags. She's like, what happened here where he became Darth Vader? How could this have even happened? But then they're having, like, this conversation about the clones, and he's like, well, that's just the way it is sometimes. Like, they have to die. And, like, I don't know, like, it's like this, like, lack of, like, empathy and comfort to her. Instead, he, like, hardens on her that she wants to live, she has to be a soldier. And, like, when he says that and like turns away from her, and that's when you get, like, the flash of him being a Darth Vader, like, in and out of the light. And I think like that's all just like probably what Ahsoka does like all the time. Like she's reflecting back on all of her moments with Anakin, like looking for those signs. Like how did I miss this? Like how did this slip past me? Like I thought I was so close to him, and like I just can imagine that eating up so much of her mental capacity. Like she probably feels some kind of guilt over that, you know? Like how did she miss it? And I think like that, again, we talk about like her trust has been shattered, right? And it's hard for her to let herself be the master Jedi for Sabine, because she, one, doesn't want, like, it's funny to say out loud, but like Ahsoka, like, you're not gonna do this. Like, you're not gonna turn to the dark side like your master, you know? Like, you're just not. I'm sorry. But she's scared of becoming that. It's almost like when someone is like, am I a narcissist? And you're like, well, if you ask that question, you're probably not a narcissist. Like, that's kind of, I feel like, what Ahsoka's, like, scared of becoming a Sith Lord. And I'm like, Ahsoka, I think
but she's also worried about Sabine, too.
Yeah. And So, I don't know. There's so many layers to these flashbacks, though. And I love seeing the Siege of Mandalore again from adult Ahsoka's perspective.
Yeah, and Anakin being like, "Oh,
I don't know
I wasn't at this battle." Yeah.
She's like, actually, this was like moments before you switched, and I almost died.
I was curious what that first battle was supposed to be. You know what they should have done is they should have had like the backpack with the baby Hutt Stinky. Should have.
Yeah.
Like they should have had that on her. That would have been that would have made the people who hadn't watched the animated stuff
real confused.
Yeah,
why is there a Hutt baby in this backpack?
Okay, so maybe it's good they didn't do that.
But it was very neutral. But I was thinking it was something very, very early, like season 1.
Yeah, I mean like they weren't on Ryloth. It was I think Obi-Wan and Mace Windu that were on Ryloth, but there were a couple of Twi'lek soldiers at one point. But there's a lot of sand, so I know Anakin was thrilled about that. But maybe Geonosis, you know, they go back to Geonosis early in Clone Wars. When Coyote-Mundi brags about how many cricket people he killed, he's like, I got 68, when they're all like doing the Legolas Gimli thing. But the Vader stuff was kind of cool, you know, when it would like do those
the flash.
The glimpses of Vader, but the music is so good. We haven't mentioned Kevin Kiner, but the guy who scored the Clone Wars and Rebels also scores this, and he brings back so much of that musical continuity. You know, he always worked in a lot of the John Williams stuff, especially on Rebels, but here he brings back, you know, like Sabine and Ahsoka's themes that they had in Rebels. Mm-hmm. So the Hayden Christensen stuff, like I did not really want to see that going into the show because I never liked his performance, and I think the guy on Clone Wars who plays Anakin, what's his name?
Sam Witwer?
No.
Matthew Lanter?
Matthew Lanter, yeah, thank you. I always think of his voice as Anakin's voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hayden Christensen was better in this than I thought, or would have thought, and it is a little weird, the voice. Like he's still not.
It's weird, yeah.
But he's kind of like.
He's trying.
He's kind of talking in a deeper voice. You know what I mean? Snips.
Yeah, he's trying.
You know, he's trying because you know the Hayden Christensen of the movies.
Much more whiny.
Yeah,
it was, to be fair though, he had barely hit puberty. Like he was supposed to be like 18 or 19 or whatever. So his voice could still be dropping. But yeah, it does sound a little better.
They just need to redub Hayden Christensen with Matthew Lanter, in my opinion. But maybe that's mean to do to an actor. Ray Park thought that was mean to do with him in The Phantom Menace.
I mean, valid, I guess.
And that's why he couldn't get jobs with speaking roles. They would only hire him to play Snake Eyes, the mute ninja in G.I. Joe. Because we need a guy who does martial arts and doesn't talk. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Get Ray Park. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should have more thoughts on this big episode. We get Rex and some clones, so I like seeing those guys. I love my clones. But yeah, the world. So yeah, this is something that probably going into the show would have scared the fuck out of me. It made me think there's no way I was gonna like it. Like going to another galaxy is already kind of a weird, kind of a general sci-fi thing, and not like a specifically Star Warsy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I love these Rebels characters so much. Like I'll be a little open minded and give it a try. But then like this stuff, like I was always freaked out about the world between worlds. But going back and rewatching Rebels, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's not that crazy.
I think I helped because I like it so much that I convinced you. I was like, but all these cool things.
I mean, I still don't want Star Wars to focus on it too much. I'm okay with it being like this kind of mysterious thing that we don't fully understand. So I don't really want them to explore it much, I guess. But I am curious. Filoni definitely does seem to have like a plan. Everyone complained about like the sequel trilogy had no plan.
Yeah.
So it seems like Filoni has something up his sleeve. So I'm gonna give him a shot and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the Hayden Christensen stuff didn't bug me. I was kind of impressed with them. However, I know you have voiced concerns. How come he gets to live on as a ghost after Return of the Jedi? After the guy who was the Emperor's right-hand man for the entire duration of the Empire.
So, do you know what's funny? Is it doesn't bother me that he's in the world between worlds. It bothers me when he shows up as a ghost.
But I think that might just be like a little like lingering. It's like after
after something.
Yeah, like after Ahsoka leaves the world between worlds, like he can kind of still see her on the way out for a little bit. Like I don't think he like.
But when we see him as a Force ghost, it's at the end of the series.
Right, I know.
So like,
but
it's not even the same planet. It's a different galaxy.
Because that was still him like seeing her as she was like leaving the world between worlds. He's like,
I guess.
It's
timey-wimey.
It's like she goes there, she goes to this mystical place, and then she comes back, and she's got like this little like echo of Anakin with her for a little bit, and then it kind of fades away.
Okay.
That's kind of how I thought about it.
Okay, and that's kind of like him being like, all right, you're on your own again, kid.
And a lot of this, but see, maybe that's why I want some of this stuff to stay so nebulous, because it's kind of just I don't know what feels right to you. That's a very the Force thing is like trust your feelings, So.
I guess when I imagine, like, the world between worlds, I think of it as being, like, the Force. Like, they're inside the Force plane. Does that make sense? So I always think, like, oh, well, anyone can show up, and that makes sense.
But does her body, like, when she falls off that cliff, I just kind of picture like she just, like, falls into a portal when she hits the ocean.
I think so, too. I don't think she's physically in the water the whole time, but she is put back there where she fell when she's done being in the world between worlds, which is kind of a dick move because she totally would have drowned if Hera hadn't got her.
It is possible that like she did drown and started to pass off into the Force, and then it's kind of like Gandalf after he fights the Balrog, and he kind of dies and then is reborn as Gandalf the White. So if that's what Filoni is doing here with Ahsoka the White. Because after this, we did point out that, her wardrobe is lighter and wider and closer to how she looked in that epilogue of Rebels.
Yeah.
She kind of comes out of this with a new motivation. She's determined to not give up on Sabine, though. But. I guess what was the big takeaway from her conversation with Anakin that she learned?
I think it was choosing to live, like choosing to like to
when he's like, "You'll fight me or die," and she's like, "I'll live." Well,
I think I struggled with this before because I was like, what do they really mean? Like, do they mean like choose to die, choose to live? I think the lesson was like you're living in the past. Like you're constantly thinking about this and how you could have changed it or like all these things that you went through. Like you're holding on to this and it's holding you back from being a better Jedi and being a better master. Yeah. And if you let go of this and choose to live and move forward and like do the next thing and like learn your next lessons, like quit lingering in the past. If you do that, you're basically dead to growth, right? I guess is like what the lesson seemed like to me. And so when she wakes up and chooses to actively take charge, maybe, or to like make decisions without like not I don't want to say like with forgetting the past, like I don't think it's that, but like not letting the past define
Yeah,
the
living for the future
choices.
and not for the past.
Yeah, like she's got to make better choices that don't necessarily reflect always on the past for her, I guess.
Yeah, live for the future and not for the past.
It's one of those things that's so hard to explain. It makes a lot of sense in my brain conceptually, but when you have to put words around it, it's hard. So yeah, I was very excited about Jason too. Like I loved the whole water recovery stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, when he helps find her.
Like he's gonna have to get low.
Oh, and I liked him and Chopper, just kind of their rapport.
Yeah, like they're kind of like brothers in a way.
Yeah.
I love that Jason just fits right into the family. Like it doesn't even like obviously he has actually bloodline family in this family, but he also like we haven't seen him at all. Really.
I want to see him like I can picture this like old man with green hair, and he's General Jason Syndulla.
Yeah.
And he has this green lightsaber, and he's got like a little teenage Grogu with him.
Yeah, the green team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason is adorable.
I figured out my solution for I want this cool badass Mando helmet wearing teenage Grogu with a dark saber type miniature lightsaber. But I was wondering how should he get around, because he can't just be like a cool badass on these two little Grogu feet who just walks around real slow. Like, is he gonna have like an IG-12 vehicle or something? But we noticed that Grogu is really good with creatures, so I think he could just control some animal to serve as his steed. Just like if they're on Ryloth, maybe like Jason Syndulla is on his grandpa's planet, and he's teamed up with Grogu riding around on a blurg.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Ahsoka.
Yeah, I love Ahsoka being back, and I love that, like, one of the first things she does is hug Jason. That was so cute. Aunt Ahsoka, she's back over here. That was adorable. I think it's interesting that he hasn't started any kind of Jedi training at all, even though they all know he's Force sensitive. But it seems like maybe Hera doesn't want him to learn. And I don't know what those conflicts are, or if nobody wants to teach Jason. But, like, if they were going to, I think Ezra would be the perfect teacher for him.
Well, maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, maybe I just need to be patient. But it's one of those things that's like, oh, well, he's already 9. So, I feel like that's too late. Like, we keep starting these new Jedi people so late. Like, everyone says that they need to start earlier, So we keep getting all these super late bloomers. And I'm like, man, like, Sabine and Ezra and Jason, Luke, Jesus. Luke is like one of the oldest started, you know what I mean, learning at like what, 18, 17?
Yeah, I guess that was another reason why the Jedi wanted to start training young, is because you're more connected to the Force the younger you are.
Right. Oh, and then the last bit. I really love Ahsoka and Huyang taking off to the next galaxy as a Jonah and the whale situation. Very Finding Nemo also.
It's very Star Wars you're going to use the Force and nature to, like the Empire had to do it with like, I guess they have witch magic, but they're also using like a lot of technology and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a crazy concept with the hyperdrive ring, though. It's like that thing that it was introduced in Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan Kenobi's starfighter has to use one of those to go from Coruscant to Camino. It's the first time we ever saw that.
Yeah.
And now we get this massive thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, we forgot to mention it previously, but when Sabine goes off with Baylan and Shin, I really love that moment when he kind of forces Sabine, or he doesn't even force her, he just kind of allows her to not destroy the map. And right, she hands it over, right? Because he says, like, give it to me and I'll promise you that you can see Ezra again. So that always stood out as like this really cool villain moment because I forgot about this, but it reminded me when we watched this the first time. It reminded me of this epic moment in the old 1980s Transformers cartoon I've showed you a little bit of. But there's this moment where the Decepticons are fighting the Autobots on Earth, and Megatron is trying to build this space bridge that will transport the planet Cybertron to Earth's solar system. And if that happens, it's going to totally disrupt Earth from the gravity of this other planet showing up. And so the Autobots are trying to stop Megatron's machine, his space bridge, from bringing Cybertron over. But when Optimus Prime is fighting Megatron, Megatron tells Optimus, if you destroy the machine now, we'll lose Cybertron. The transportation of the planet has already begun. So I have to pull this switch over here to finish it, even though that'll doom Earth. But now that I've explained that to you, I'm not even going to pull the switch, because I know that you want to save Cybertron, and you'll just do that for me. And it's kind of like a badass villain power move, you know?
Yeah.
And that always stood out to me in Transformers as just like that's a cool villain moment. And then I don't know what else, I don't know where else I've seen that ever since, but Balin doing that here. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. Any other thoughts on Shadow Warrior?
No, I guess, Ahsoka kind of learned, it was kind of a do or do not, there is no try kind of thing. It's like, live for a purpose or just, die here in this water, you know? For real, it's like, are you gonna go out there and, like, actually, be proactive and get shit done? Or not, so... so the new motivated Ahsoka the White goes to get Ezra and Sabine. We have episode 6, part 6, Far, Far Away.
The Eye of Sion arrives at Peridia, the ancient homeworld of Morgan's people, the Night Sister Witches, who were the first to harness the Purgil and travel between galaxies. Morgan, Balin, and Shin and Sabine meet the Great Mothers, 3 Night Sisters still living on Peridia, who are allies of Thrawn and who use their Force magic to call Morgan to them. Balin reveals to Shin that he is searching for a great power on Peridia that he learned about in Jedi folk tales. He hopes to use this to end the cycle of war and destruction between the light and dark sides of the Force, as seen with the fall of the Jedi and the rise of the Empire. Thrawn arrives aboard his Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and honors Balin's promise by providing Sabine with provisions and a mount to search for Ezra. After she leaves, Thrawn has Balin and Shin follow her so they can kill both her and Ezra once the latter is found. Surviving an ambush by bandits, Sabine encounters a local tribe, the Noti, and goes to their village where she reunites with Ezra. The Great Mothers sense Ahsoka's imminent arrival, and Thrawn prepares his defenses. I love that Ahsoka is so badass. Like, we already knew this, but, like, constantly surprising Balin and Thrawn. And I love, like, she's coming into this and they're like, oh, no, like, she wasn't part of the plan. We didn't foresee her being part of this. Like, the Night Sisters, the 3 witches, they're very much like the 3 past, future, present fates from Greek mythology.
Yeah.
The fates. And
they have similar names to them too.
Yeah.
And there's also in Norse mythology, there's 3 witches that tell the future or something like that.
So I thought that was really good storytelling there too. That these witches couldn't foresee her arrival, which is a big deal. And
like the 3 feminine figures of the mother, the maid, and the crone. Mm-hmm. It's like that's another 3.
Yeah.
Of 3.
3 women.
3 mystical ladies. Yeah.
trying to think here what else.
There's so much
it feels
mythology in
I
this
know.
show.
I'm like, there's like so much going on, but also not a lot going on. I'm like, okay, Sabine finds Ezra, and that's kind of cool.
But I like that the first thing he says, I knew I could count on you.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I watched this, I didn't realize how that was, it was so key that was their parting words in Rebels.
He wanted her to come save him. But
And she still has his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the modification that she added to it of having those, there's two prongs on it, that kind of makes it safer for a Force noob to wield. You know, you're like less likely to pull a Din Djarin and slice your thigh off.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, but yeah, it was cool to see him and his lightsaber, even though he doesn't need it anymore.
Yep.
But there's some fun stuff with AHSOKA and what's his name?
Huyang?
Huyang, yeah. Isn't this when he's like doing like Jedi youngling story time, and he's talking about like the myths and stuff? And he was like saying there's like the 3 different parts. It's kind of like like the 3 different trilogies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think like AHSOKA was saying like the first one's my favorite. Is that her saying like the prequels are my favorite?
Yeah, she's
that's
like
her
that's my era.
Yeah.
That was where I was born. Yeah, that's cute. I don't really have a lot of
Or
thoughts.
it could also be like Dave Filoni saying like, oh, the first of the 3 Star Wars movies, like back when there was only 3. Like I think he's probably like the original's his favorite, probably.
Yeah. I don't think I have like a whole lot of thoughts on this episode, honestly. Like I liked it, and we kind of like get the ball rolling. It is one of those planets. We get the turtle creatures.
We get the character Enoch.
Oh yeah.
That's a biblical reference.
Yeah. And also really cool armor with the stormtroopers are kind of all tattered and put together with like gold and red, and it's very Night Sister mending.
And I think I heard recently that he's played by the guy who plays Amos in The Expanse.
Is that our dog is named after?
Yes. So, maybe that could be Amos's middle name is Enoch now. But yeah, that's the first time I saw it, I thought like, man, that's kind of a weird design. But now after rewatching all of this Clone Wars and seeing all the different variety of shit that this universe throws at us, it's like it's actually not that crazy, and it's pretty badass and cool. And just like this whole Thrawn's whole aesthetic here, it's like we talk about how there's like Imperial drip.
Yeah.
Like, I hate the Empire. They're fascist bastards. I root for the rebels. But, yeah, like, Imperial shit always looks cool. So even when they're, like, stranded for 10 years and they're having to, like...
They're doing their best.
Yeah, when they're doing their best, it's like, okay, we have to, like, stitch our armor together. So we're going to stitch our armor together with this blood red thread we got from these witches that probably has mystical properties.
Mm-hmm.
It's like... They still find something pretty badass and cool to do. And I just love, like, the whole, like, I don't know, the spooky Star Wars. Like, okay, we have, like, witches in Star Wars. Like, that's been a thing for a while. But, like, they're having a lot of fun with it here.
Yeah.
Not even getting to the zombie stuff that's coming up.
I can't wait for Ezra to meet Enoch, because he's going to be like, I want that mask.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's going to be like,
that's going to be, like,
dibs.
his prized possession. Absolutely.
What'd you think of Thrawn?
So, he sounds cool.
Yeah, sounds exactly the same.
Looks a little...
Older?
Just a little... I don't know. I don't know how to be nice about it, but he's got, like, this, like, slight pudginess to him. Kind of like... It kind of makes me think of Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh, gross. It does. He does have that vibe.
And, like, the way he kind of just, like, stands there so, like, self-importantly, and you can tell, like, when he talks, he thinks he's the smartest man in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I hate how much he acts around the witches. Like, he's like...
I think he's very polite to them.
Oh, I think he's abusing the shit out of them.
How?
What? Like, also, like, who are these witches to be like, oh, we have all these powers, we'll just let this blue man boss us around.
They formed some type of an alliance for some reason.
Ah, man. But I'm like, those witches are cooler than you.
I think he's gonna bring them back to Dathomir so that
Yeah.
they can restart the Night Sisters.
That would be good. Yeah.
I think that's why they're in it. I think he's like, hey, I know like my old boss Palpatine and the Night Sisters didn't get along, but he's gone. I don't have any beef with you. I see that you've been wronged. Here, let me help make it up to you. I can take you back to Dathomir, and you can start the Night Sisters over again. Because that's the thing about Thrawn that goes back to the old 90s books that he originally appeared in, is that he, unlike Vader and Palpatine, he doesn't rule by fear. Like, he would never, like, force choke his subordinates. You remember like that one time in Rebels when he like is yelling at that Imperial officer
Yeah.
for like disrespecting art,
Yeah.
and then like he like stops himself and he apologizes.
Yeah.
Like he likes to rule by respect, and he's kind of this unique Imperial officer, and that like his men like they really look up to him. And he has this kind of like cult of personality around himself. So yeah, I think he would like make some type of agreement with the Night Sisters that like they would actually see like, oh, this actually would help us out, so let's go ahead and do this. But I can see it from your point of view now that you mention it. It does kind of seem like he's the one calling all the shots. Yeah. But I think he is real polite to them.
But no, you bring up a really good point that they probably also have their own agenda, and they do want to go back and rebuild Dathomir. Like, that all makes a lot of sense to me, too. Like, they need to use Thrawn just as much as Thrawn needs to use them.
Yeah. And they're both smart enough to, like, understand that, and they're both smart enough to know, like, yeah, I don't really want to fuck with you right now, because like, that's not going to help me.
We'll deal with that when it comes up, if it comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What else? Anything else? What do you feel about Morgan being there? You know, I feel like this was my least favorite part of Morgan's story, is her being reconnected with Thrawn. Like, I liked her more in The Mandalorian when she's kind of like an angsty magistrate.
Yeah.
And now, like, that she's kind of like in on this action again and stuff. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, she's not as cool now.
Because
like, she's not as mysterious, I guess.
Because that's her big motivation, is she's just a huge Thrawn fangirl.
Yeah, it's odd to me. I don't like, you know, we're not there yet, but like when she dies, it's kind of like, Morgan's dead. Like, they don't, like the Night Sisters and Thrawn, both.
I could see her coming back in season 2, though.
God damn it.
Like,
probably.
I mean, of course, Star Wars, no one's ever really gone.
She'll
but
be
also
a Night Sister zombie. But also, like, Ventress came back.
Yeah, like
just do the same thing
Night
with her.
Sisters are really good at cheating death.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll hold on that. But I was a little bit, like, disappointed in Morgan being such a bootlicker, I guess.
Yeah.
I like her when she's kind of licking her own boot. Like, she's so cool when she's like, these are the TIE fighters I want to build, you know? And, like, this is the horrible crap I want to get into at this poor little village, you know? Like, she's a badass, and she's scary, and she's evil. But then I feel like in Ahsoka, I guess it's because she's no longer the big bad. Yeah. I liked her being the big bad for a moment.
Instead, she's just the lieutenant to the big bad.
I'm like, dang it, she was cool. And now she's just second or third in command at this point.
But yeah, they give Sabine the Howler to ride on, so another Filoni wolf.
Oh, yeah. You know, that wolf also reminds me of the scent dog that they use in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The one that, like, flicks its tongue and paralyzes its prey.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a mole...
A mole dog or an anteater dog.
Yeah, something like that.
Weird.
But it has the same, like, schnauz shape as these wolves.
But yeah, that bounty hunter girl is riding around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe Filoni did that.
Maybe.
But what did Enoch say to her? Does he say die well?
Yeah.
So that's very polite for a stormtrooper, I think.
And that also mimics Maul telling the Mandalorians to die well before he leaves Mandalore for them to... You remember he tells Saxton?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like he's like, die well, Mandalorian. And then he leaves and Ahsoka catches him on his way out.
I did make a note to point out I like it when Thrawn's eyes light up when
Oh
he
yeah.
hears the name Sabine Wren.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. He's like the artist.
Yeah, yeah.
Like more than anything, like he's not like the rebel, the Mandalorian, this Jedi wannabe.
Oh,
No, he is like I love her art.
and when he says, "Give me the file on whoever this
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka person is," and he's like, "This is General Skywalker's apprentice."
Yeah.
Because okay, so this is another thing from the books, but Thrawn is one of the very few people who knows that Anakin is
Darth
Vader.
Vader. Mm.
So and he kind of knew all along.
Yeah.
So he knows Ahsoka is probably going to be a bit, and he has Jedi trauma from Rebels. This is kind of like you had to have watched Rebels to have any idea about this. But I mean, I guess he does mention that one time about like he's been defeated by Jedi before. He doesn't want to leave anything up to chance. But like the two times he was defeated that we saw in Rebels was when Kanan Jarrus got the Bendu involved on Chopper base, and then when Ezra brought the Purrgil
Yeah.
to
Take him away on the fall.
take him to this other galaxy.
You know what? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, he's just not fucking around with these Jedi.
No.
He's like,
yeah, he's been burned twice
Yeah.
at least. But dang it, I was gonna say something and now I forgot what it was. It was about Thrawn and it was about Jedi and it was about Ahsoka. It was about. He says, I love that he's so true to his rebel self in this, where he's like, even when they lost, like there was like a moment where they didn't get what they want somewhere in these first couple or these episodes, and he's like, well, we've learned a lot. He says something like that.
Yeah.
I love that because that's how Thrawn reacted to every loss in Rebels. He's like, yeah, we may have lost, but we learned so much, and now we'll do better next time. And I love that they bring that back up again in Ahsoka.
yeah, it's very consistent.
And I also like that he does not underestimate his opponents. I love that about him. I feel like that's such an easy way for story writers to have their heroes win so much, is like, oh, they were just like underestimated. But Thrawn like really takes consideration and time to research and figure out his strategies and stuff and who he's dealing with. And I love that all of that is very consistent in this show. So whenever like he hears about Ahsoka, he's like, immediately I need every information about her now, and also like triple our forces.
He's doing everything to be as prepared as possible. You know,
Yeah.
like he's like,
He'd rather be over prepared.
yeah. But then on the New Republic side, they're like, oh yeah, sure, Thrawn's gonna come back. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. And they're just, sitting around on their asses doing nothing.
Yeah. And this is why Hera is like, he will eventually come back. Like it may take him a long ass time, 10 years, but once he has his mind on something, he's a really good project manager.
So this episode we get the hermit crab people,
Yeah.
and I like them. I think it's okay to have little Ewok types every now and then. They don't annoy me like how some of the critters do on occasion, but Ezra living with them for 10 years is interesting.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, I like he was pretty chill when Sabine showed up. Balin, I believe, also explains his plan in this episode.
Right. He's looking for the Jedi history stuff.
And this planet is a really cool location in general. We now know that it's the home, the original origin of the Night Sisters, and it's also where the Purrgil go to die. It's the Purrgil graveyard.
Oh, that was so cool. The rings of this planet are all whale bone debris. Very interesting.
Although they might not come back anymore now that Thrawn has all those mines.
Yeah.
Whenever they arrive out of hyperspace, they just like crash into all these mines. The poor things. You might have to find a new graveyard. Which would make Ahsoka and Sabine eventually coming back home difficult.
Yeah, they've scared the Purgle away.
Yeah.
So they can't do the same method that they did to get there. Yeah, no, it was a strategic writing point.
But I think if they go to Mortis, they're gonna go to World Between Worlds.
And then they're gonna they'll be fine. I'm not worried about them at all.
Maybe they'll like pop out of like the Lethal Temple or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But one last thing I was gonna say is I think this is the episode when Balin explains Ezra to Shin as he was you call him a broken Jedi?
No, a Bonin or Borin or something like that.
A Ronin?
No, he uses that for Ahsoka. It was basically like a foundling Jedi, like out in the wild.
But yeah, he was like raised in the wild after the fall of the Order.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Is that what I am?" And he's like, "No, I taught you to be something more than the Jedi."
Yeah.
But let's move on to our penultimate episode, Part 7, Dreams and Madness.
At a disciplinary hearing on Coruscant, Senator Ziono requests that Hera be court-martialed for disobeying orders. Senator Leia Organa, an ally to Hera and Ahsoka, sends her protocol droid C-3PO with fake evidence that Hera's actions were a miscommunication. The court absolves Hera. She and Mothma discuss the threat of Thrawn's possible return. Sabine catches Ezra up with what he has missed since disappearing. When the Purgle arrive at Peridea, they enter a minefield left by Thrawn. Ahsoka and Huyang exit their Purgle's mouth before it flees and hide in a debris field until Ahsoka locates Sabine through the Force. Ezra, Sabine, and the Noti are attacked by Shin, the bandits, and Thrawn's night troopers. Sabine offers Ezra's old lightsaber to him, but he tells her to keep it and fights with the Force instead. Ahsoka confronts Balin, but he leaves to pursue his own agenda. Realizing that Balin is no longer fighting for him, Thrawn withdraws his troops after Ahsoka arrives. Shin is left behind and flees after spurning an invitation from Ahsoka to join them. Ahsoka reunites with Sabine and Ezra. We got the team back together again, basically. A lot of action in this episode. Some fun fighting, I guess, with Sabine and Ezra, and Ahsoka with all those, I guess, night troopers, I guess, is what they're calling them. These poor little alien creatures are just, like, having to hide in their shell this whole time.
They're peaceful.
In their RV trailers.
But yeah, I like the hermit crab life.
Yeah. What else? Purgle stuff was cool.
Oh, they kind of look like Sam and Frodo in the Two Towers when they have to hide under their cloak when they look like they're a rock, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then at one point, he uses his frying pan as a weapon, like Sam from The Lord of the Rings. So, you see there's some Tolkien stuff in here.
Yeah. What'd you think about Hera almost being court-martialed?
Well, we get the Leia mention. Also, Chopper is there in the room. Akbar is there, but he doesn't say anything.
Uh-huh.
But when Senator Ziono says, we can't trust the word of a mere droid, and then Chopper is like, yeah. And then Carson's trying to, like, calm him down.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, I liked how that all worked out.
Carson's like, this droid is gonna get arrested if I don't stop him.
Yeah, he's like, man, your mom there is about to get court-martialed. Maybe don't make it worse.
That's cool to see the dad from Kim's Convenience get to have a scene with C-3PO and, like, talk to C-3PO, you know?
Yeah. I liked Leia coming in to save Hera's butt and be like, no, I approved of this. And I like Mon Mothma reading right through that shit and being like, you can't keep pulling this crap, Hera. Like, I think it's important, though, like one, and they mentioned that in this episode, like, one thing that Hera really has going for her is that she's always a strong believer in the right thing and is willing to go against orders and stuff. Like, she says, like, once a rebel, always a rebel, you know, but this is something that ends up causing so many issues with the New Republic, and even up in the sequels, like, we see, like, this, like, disjointed rebellion, and you have like all these like disagreements that cause conflicts and cause other characters to go do stupid missions for no reason, and but they believe that it's the right thing to do, right? So I don't know. I think we get very lucky with Hera being very accurate with what she deems to be high priority. But like it does put into place like, oh, we do have all these other rebels here like acting on their own a lot. So
Yeah, in Star Wars, the good guys always do really well when they all work together, and really poorly when they don't.
Yeah,
like they lose the Clone Wars because Mace Windu and Ahsoka communicated poorly, you know, or but then like compared to like uh, Ezra and company were able to liberate Lothal because they had so many people pitch in and help.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a consistent story in Star Wars. But yeah, I guess the New Republic is not meant to last.
yeah.
But yeah, and just speaking of Hera though, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is Ewan McGregor's wife, does a great job as Hera, and absolutely just unquestionably feels like the character from the animated show.
Yeah, she feels a little more somber to me. Definitely matured a lot.
Well, this is like post Kanan.
Yeah. Yeah. Much, little bit heavier. You know, she's got more on her plate too as a general.
And a mom.
And a mom. And a widow. Kind of has like that same feeling, you know, like when we jumped in The Mandalorian to Ahsoka. And you're like, man, I haven't seen Ahsoka in like 10 or 15 years, and this is what... And like, it feels like a little bit of like a disconnect. You're like, I don't really know who she is right now. You know? Like, when we were watching The Mandalorian, you remember? And you're like, she doesn't feel like Ahsoka, really. Like, she doesn't feel like Ahsoka until Dave Filoni is writing it. Is kind of like what you're saying. But I think it's because it's like, she's been going through all this stuff we haven't seen to know why she was that way. And now we're seeing why she was kind of like that. Like she's been thinking about all this Clone Wars drama and like her trauma. Sorry, not drama.
We never followed up on the Ahsoka after the fight on Malachor, because that's like the last thing we see of her in Rebels when Ezra pulls her out of that moment in the world between worlds. And I think she just kind of jumps forward 2 years into the future, but we never see her again after that. We're told that she trained Sabine at some point.
Right.
But yeah, so this does explain a lot about her. And I think she's also just, a little bit more, has her guard up when she's hanging out with Din Djarin or Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And then this is her with people who she has known for a long time and can trust.
Yeah.
And she kind of loosens up.
Yeah. But I guess all of that to say is that I felt a very similar parallel of like meeting Hera again and like meeting Ahsoka again, with them being older, with new experiences we may not understand completely yet. But yeah, any other thoughts on Dreams and Madness?
The two mercenaries part ways. This is when Balin is like, he goes up in the mountains to do whatever he does. Whatever will be in season 2.
Yeah.
When he's played by the Hound from Game of Thrones. Who I'm curious to see. I'm sad that Ray Stevenson didn't get to continue to play the character, but I'm curious to see what this other actor I like brings to the role.
Mm-hmm. You ready for the finale?
Yeah, so big finale, part 8. Another fun title, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
Man, I don't like that they did that title. I think...
Is it because those books are too modern to be like an influence? Like we have like Greek mythology, and then we have like, oh, here's a book from the 20th century.
No, I guess if we are talking about a lot of this being very theological and very mythological, I guess that does help me a little bit. But I guess because I've read the Chronicles of Narnia a lot, it just doesn't... I don't really... Okay, Star Wars is such its own big brand And this is the same reason why I had a hard time with Lizzo and Jack Black, because they're both their own brand.
Yeah.
And so when you bring that brand into this fandom, it feels like I don't want to say it's cheapening the brand of Star Wars, but it's like not it's like bringing Star Wars out of this other galaxy thing, and it's like, oh, remember that Earth is still a thing, and like Lizzo and Jack Black live on Earth in real life, and now they're in Star Wars. And then that book that you've read, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, also exists in Star Wars. Like, it's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to, like, pull these other things into this other... Like, it's just weird.
To
like,
me,
Earth isn't a real place in Star Wars.
To me, it's not that different than, you know, having some influence from Akira Kurosawa movies or, you know, World War II. It's just...
Yeah.
Star Wars is just this big hodgepodge of a lot of pop culture.
I guess. Well, anyways, let's talk about... I wanted to vent about the title anyway. So, Part 8, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. The Chimera is loaded with a mysterious cargo and docks with the Eye of Sion. Ezra constructs a new lightsaber using spare parts from the saber of Kanan, his master. Huyang tells Ezra that Ahsoka originally stopped training Sabine out of fear for her potential after Sabine's family were killed during the Purge of Mandalore. Ahsoka now says she is committed to Sabine. Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra are attacked by Thrawn's night troopers and Morgan. The Great Mothers use magic to resurrect the troopers each time they are killed. While Ahsoka duels Morgan, Sabine and Ezra reach the Chimera as it departs. Sabine uses the Force for the first time to save herself and then uses it again to help Ezra onto the Chimera. She stays behind to help Ahsoka, who kills Morgan. Thrawn and the Great Mothers arrive in the other galaxy at the Night Sister planet Dathomir. Ezra sneaks away and reunites with Hera. On Peridea, Shin joins the bandits. Balin discovers statues of the Mortis gods that point the way for his journey. And Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huyang settle in with the Noti, while Anakin's spirit watches over them. And thoughts. You went quiet on me. Let's see here. Big stuff. Sabine finally gets a big Force sensitivity encouragement. I think, like, that's nice. Ahsoka's, like, finally fully in on being Sabine's Jedi Master, and I think, like, that confidence that Ahsoka is showing to Sabine is really
That's what got her over the hump.
Yeah, like, she's like, oh, my master believes in me for real.
Ezra just kind of forcing her to be like, do this or I'll die.
Yeah. Well, and also I like that we see Ezra with Huyang and how fucking pumped Huyang is to know Ezra and meet Ezra and, like, build this lightsaber with him. And he's like, that's not how you build a lightsaber. And Ezra's like, watch me, you know? And then, like, them rummaging through all of his organized parts and stuff.
I guess he just has some spare kyber crystals.
Yeah, or they took Maroks.
No, because then it would be white if they purified the red crystals.
Yeah, I'm sure that they have a bunch, like, saved up from people that, like, over the years. Because in my headcanon, Ahsoka has been trying to find other Jedi from the Order 66 and little Jedi babies, rescuing them from Inquisitors. I don't know.
But I like that he built a lightsaber that looked like Kanan's to honor his master.
But I love that Sabine watches all of that and sees, like, Huyang bonding with Ezra over being a good Jedi and, like, building a lightsaber and stuff.
By the way, did you know that the green lightsaber that Luke has in Return of the Jedi, he built that to look more like Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber, like the shape of the hilt, to kind of honor his former master. But
Are you done?
Yes.
Oh, well, I liked that Sabine was watching them, like, have their little Jedi moment. And then they were trying to include her in on it to, like, be like, oh, well, how did you feel the first time you built your lightsaber or whatever? And she's like, I never built a lightsaber. But she, like, disappears. Like, she's kind of hurt, you know, that she'll never have that same level, you know, that comes naturally to Ezra. But, I mean, I think it's a good parallel, like, you know, or perpendicular, I would call it. Like, we see Ezra and Sabine kind of train together with Kanan, and they're very different. And we do know that Ezra was very naturally gifted. Like, he was already honing his force sensitivity skills on his own without even knowing that he was. So I think it's just good for the audience to see how cool Ezra is and how naturally it all comes to him in comparison. It really just, like, makes Sabine look like a fish out of water.
I like when they're fighting the zombie stormtroopers, and at one point Ahsoka tells Sabine to switch to blasters.
Yeah, she's like, all right. We get that you're trying, but
Yeah.
you're a Mandalorian first.
Yeah, that's cute, but let's get serious. I think that might have been before they died and then stood back up. But yeah, what do you think of the Night Sister magic zombie stormtroopers?
I mean, these aren't our first zombies from the Night Sisters.
Right. I think it's a cool idea to do it with stormtroopers, though.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of this. I would love to see, like, this is how Thrawn is going to try to fight the New Republic. Him and his Night Sister allies. They're going to have these zombie stormtroopers.
That would be interesting.
And, you know, it's good fodder for, like, your heroes to just, you know, cut down a bunch of...
Right, like droids.
Yeah, just mow down a lot of NPCs.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But okay, so they're called Death Troopers. The tall, black-armored stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
They first showed up in Rogue One, but they've been in a few things. They were in Andor and Rebels. But there are Death Troopers that seem like they've been dead for a while. Like, that one has its helmet broke open that's trying to bite Sabine in the face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. What else happens?
Oh, the Night Sisters have the Mother Talzin's sword, the Sword of Talzin.
Oh, they give that to... Oh, yeah, because Morgan gets upgraded in this. She gets her black eyes.
Yeah.
And her burn marks and stuff.
Yeah. And
that was pretty cool ritual. And I loved Thrawn witnessing all that. He looked very excited to be witnessing that, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was comparing it to...
When Hondo
witnesses the younglings build a lightsaber, and he's like, oh, what a marvelous thing to witness, a Jedi building a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is kind of like the dark side version of that, is Thrawn watching the Night Sisters do this dark magic.
Yeah.
But Ezra makes the jump. He gets back to home one. Ezra gets to Admiral Akbar's ship.
Yep. He stole a stormtrooper outfit immediately.
Yeah, classic move. Classic Ezra.
Yep. I like that they end up splitting up again like this, where it's like, oh, they're reunited, and now we got Ezra back to the main area, but now we're stuck here.
Yeah.
And I love that Ahsoka says, well, we're where we need to be.
So, I don't know what this movie we're going to see Friday is about with the Mandalorian and Grogu. But I don't know. It seems to me like a cool idea for a movie would have been to do, like, okay, Thrawn unleashed on the galaxy with his Night Sister allies.
No, I want that in season 2 because I want 8 hours of it and not an hour and a half.
But season 2 can be Ahsoka and Sabine doing whatever the fuck they're doing. And we're probably going to go to Mortis.
Oh, yeah.
Because we end with Balin standing at those statues, like,
yeah,
aligned with the father.
Yeah, and then there you can see the son, and then the daughter is missing because she's in Ahsoka. I mean, like, reminding the audience who knows about.
Yeah.
But.
Or the Night Sisters just hate the light side of the Force that much that they went over there and knocked down that statue.
Yeah, maybe.
They're like, we like the father and the the daughter. You would think the Night Sisters wouldn't like that because they'd be like, "What about the mother?"
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Yeah, I thought the ending was really good though. Very excited for season 2. Um, yeah, I don't know. Shin joining the bandits was kind of the only thing I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Like, I didn't really know what was going to go on with her. But I guess she'll come back and be a little bit annoyed probably with Balin. Like, you abandoned me. And then have this whole thing with him. But yeah, I'm curious to see more of the World Between Worlds stuff. I can't wait. I hope that there's some kind of like Mortis temple in season 2, so we can get some more really fun visuals and like mythos kind of symbolisms and whatever. Like, I love in Rebels all the Lothal Jedi temple stuff, so I'm hoping we get some more of that. And of course more of the bridge and their journey back. But yeah, I'm so stoked for more Mortis stuff. Weird shit. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty confident we'll see it next year. So, I think I was so excited when we started watching Ahsoka. They're like, we watched the first 2 episodes and then went to bed, and then the next day when I woke up, I like immediately wanted to rewatch those first 2 episodes. And when we finished watching the entire show, like last night, when we went to bed, I started reading the comic adaptation. I was like rereading the show in comic book form. But like, I really want to watch it again right now. Of all these things that we've watched, it's the first and only one. Well, I guess I kind of felt this way with the original trilogy, but I was like, man, I loved that. I want to sit down and just like watch that whole thing again right now.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for season 2. That's the thing I'm most excited for. Like, I don't know, maybe this Grogu movie will be good, maybe it won't be. Joel's gonna see it before we will. In the comments, he says he's seeing it Thursday at 7 p.m.
Nice.
So, Joel will know before we will, but...
Yeah, we're seeing it Friday at 1.
But, yeah, hopefully we like it. But, there's gonna be another season of the Mall show, it looks like. So, I think that'll be good. But the thing I am most excited for is Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah.
By far. Like that, like I'm pretty happy now about Filoni being in charge of Lucasfilm, because I was like, oh yeah, I want this kind of thing to be the priority. Mm-hmm. Basically, just more Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Like, Andor was perfect. I'm glad it's over because it can never be ruined. It'll always just be my perfect Star Wars show. And now the second best thing, Rebels, can continue on and until I don't know, maybe they drop the ball with that at some point. I guess Star Wars does have a track record of disappointment from time to time, but so far so good.
All right. So yeah, I guess we're gonna try to watch all of Skeleton Crew. That'll be the first time both of us have seen Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. So finally something new.
And we're gonna try aiming to stream that on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's pretty short episodes. They're like, most of them are like 34, 37 minute long episodes. So a couple are like 46 or 49, but yeah, I think we can watch it in the next 46 hours.
Cool.
But we will or we won't. There is no try. But that will do it for tonight. I had a lot of fun talking about Ahsoka. I would love to, Taylor, at some point maybe, like in the future, we should watch the show again and like really focus on each episode, like the
episode at a time.
Yeah, like all the art references,
a
and
breakdown for each episode.
All the canonical connections.
I think it would be cool to like specifically watch all of the Rebels episodes or the Mortis stuff, and then like also the Clone Wars Mortis stuff, and then the Rebels Mortis adjacent stuff, and then all of Ahsoka, and have like the whole thing just a specialized woo-woo part of the Force.
Well, we'll see what we end up doing next year for Ahsoka season 2, but I'm very excited to keep watching Star Wars with you. So, thank you for watching or listening to us. And until next time, remember, the Empire is for bootlickers. Be a rebel, and may the Force be with you.